Good morning, Grady. Welcome to our English class. It's Monday again. Who's in or who's out? Let us have a short review. Can you still remember about the things that we discussed last week? Oh, that is about grammatical signals. Can you share some thoughts about it? Very well said. For this week, we are already in month number 18, learning competency. Expand the content of an outline using notes from primary and secondary sources. For our enabling competency, use writing conventions to indicate acknowledgement of sources. Our lesson is about primary and secondary sources. At the end of the lesson, you are going to differentiate primary from secondary sources, define an outline, and expand the content of an outline using notes from primary and secondary sources. But before that, let us have our what's the word, that's the word. The word is source. Again, the word is source. It is a noun, a place, a person or thing from which something comes or can be obtained. Sample sentence: I knew the source of that news. Once again, the word is source. It is a noun, a place, person, or thing from which something comes or be obtained. I knew the source of that news. Let us now study the claim made by President Rodrigo Duterte posted in social media. Then, answer the followed-up questions. Here it goes. Itong Manny Pacquiao na ito, ako pa ang sinisisi. Makita kita, suntukin kita, buwang ka. Let us have the fact check. Here is the claim. President Rodrigo Duterte said he will punch Senator Manny Pacquiao over Pacquiao's insistence that the president is not doing enough to assert the Philippines' territorial rights against China. Here are the questions. Can you identify the source of the news? Can you find this news in other websites? What's your final verdict? Is it fake or real? And why? Here is the claim. President Rodrigo Duterte said he will punch Senator Manny Pacquiao over Pacquiao's insistence that the president is not doing enough to assert the Philippines' territorial rights against China. Rating false. The fact: Duterte did not say this quote about Pacquiao, but about former Foreign Secretary Albert Del Rosario. Reason why we need to fact check. This claim was emailed to Rappler for verification. This is the original pose, while this is the altered photo or pose. Can you state the difference? Let's now do the learning task. For our learning task 1, you are going to identify whether it's a primary or secondary source. Write letter P if it's primary and then S for secondary source. How can we define now what is a primary source? It is anything that gives you direct evidence about the people, events, or phenomena that you are researching. Primary sources will usually be the main objects of your analysis. Here are the examples. We have surveys, letters, experiment, photographs. Another, music scores, maps, novels, speeches and interviews, as well as journal articles and technical papers. What about secondary source? Is anything that describes, interprets, evaluates, or analyzes information from primary sources. Here are the examples. We have a newspaper report by someone who was not present, biography, another documentaries, textbooks, reviews, articles. By the way, aside from these examples for primary sources, we can also include autobiographies. Aside from that, for secondary sources, we have synopses and descriptions of artistic works. We also have reviews and essays. We also have synthesized information on a certain topic. When to use primary source or secondary source. For a primary source, it makes new discoveries, provides credible evidence for your arguments, gives authoritative information about your topic, while secondary source gains background information on the topic, supports or contrasts your arguments with other researchers' ideas, gathers information from primary sources that you can access directly. Primary source versus secondary source. Which do you think is a better source? Most research uses both primary and secondary sources. They complement each other to help you build a convincing argument. Primary sources are more credible as evidence, but secondary sources show how your work relates to existing research. For our learning task 2, entitled Sort It Out, you are going to sort the sources and the characteristics in the appropriate circle. Any sources or characteristics that are both primary or secondary may be written in the center circle. We have newspaper, diary, speech, words written after an event has occurred, provide evidence about the history, autobiography, encyclopedia, interview, textbook, videotape, actual words of people who witnessed an event, pictures, biography, and original work. How do you call this graphic organizer? Yes, this is called a Venn diagram. You are going to write at the center if the sources can be considered as primary or secondary. For this one, for this part, you will write the primary sources, and on the other circle is the secondary sources. What can you say about the idea given by this information? Just like this one, types of sources and their examples. What can you say about the idea given by this information? What do you call this type of writing? Yes, that is an outline. Okay, class, what do you mean by an outline? An outline is a breakdown of the main and supporting ideas in your essay, report, or speech. It is also a tool to organize written ideas about a topic into a logical order. When we say logical order, that is in sequence. It is also considered as a blueprint or plan for your paper. What are the types of outline? We have topic outline and sentence outline. Topic outline summarizes the main and subtopics in words or phrases, while sentence outline uses complete sentence for each main and subtopics as it is more informative compared to topic outline. Let's go back to the given example a while ago. What an example of outline is this? Yes, that is a topic outline. Here is the title, the main topic, and the subtopic. What about this one? Yes, that is a sentence outline. For our learning task 3, we're going to accomplish the line. Using the information taken from the secondary source, accomplish the topic and sentence outline below. On the following slide, you're going to answer and complete the sentence outline, or rather the topic outline. Another activity that you're going to finish is about eating disorders. To sum it up, primary source is a first-hand account, a record or evidence about a person, place, object, or an event. Point of view. I was termed more credible as evidence. Examples: videos, films, interviews, weather records, letters, diaries, and legal agreements. For secondary source, we have account, record, or evidence that comes from an original or primary source. Point of view. I heard or learned about it someday. Who was there? Examples: textbooks, documentaries, journals, articles. As a student, why is it important to know the sources of the information? Any question? None so far. For your assessment, we are going to answer the 5-item test. Classify whether the given statement or examples or primary or secondary source. For your written work number 2, or before that, for your reflection, I learned that, I understand that, please complete the statement, followed by your written work number 2, as well as your performance task number 2. That's all. Goodbye.